What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the tavern. I'm Spencer,
I'm Eli.
and this is another episode of Bardic Blunders. Uh, we were just talking about magic before the start of the show. It's not on the board, but good grief, I feel like something has to be mentioned about it because magic is sounds a little loony right now.
Yeah, they changed up their standard format and it's thrown me through a frickin' loop.
Cause the change is instead of the last year, it's the last 3 years. Does that include Kaldheim? I haven't played a lot of Magic, so I'm kind of recently. So I'm
Time is out. Midnight
okay.
Hunt and Neon Dynasty is still in, and
New new
New
Capina.
Yeah. So all of the Tri-lands are in. Done.
Jeez. Theros? Did that come out after or before? That came out before Kaldheim, so it's out.
Way before.
Yeah.
Man,
I just
looking
picked
at
up
this
the
stuff and I'm
the
losing it.
the packs that I have right now. So just so everybody knows, I am planning an eventual Magic card opening stream. I don't have enough Magic the Gathering cards right now to do that, but I have right now. I have Theros Beyond Death. I have Wilds of Eldraine. Oh, see, I did know there was another Eldraine set because I have them.
We drafted it.
Yeah, we did. War of the Spark. Still got some of those kicking around. Lord of the Rings
Dude,
and D&D.
so many packs of those
What?
at my house. I have so many War of the Spark packs at my house.
Yeah, because that was your favorite set, right?
Yeah, I bought so many boxes of that.
That was my first set.
Yeah.
What's up,
I
Cheese?
bet you if we sat down with like the Gatherer open, we could play like Guess Who with those cards, and probably both of us would do very well.
Oh gosh, probably. You'd do better than me. I can guarantee you that because you're insane. Because half the time I can be like, oh yeah, this Magic card, and you'll be like, 2/2 and a red. It does this, and I'm like, yep, that's exactly the one. It's your birthday tomorrow.
Happy early birthday.
Happy early birthday, Cheese. What am I streaming tomorrow? Oh yeah, little gator game. Well, I'm playing a real chill game on your birthday. Have you missed anything interesting or funny? No, we've just been talking about Magic the Gathering. Just gotten started. Which wasn't on the board, but we had to mention it. Yeah, I want to play Magic more. I just haven't had the money recently
Honestly,
to devote to it.
This is gonna sound really dumb. Arena is free on Steam.
Oh, is it? But you still have to pay for packs, don't you?
You can start with the starter decks and just play, and you'll get coins and be able to open packs and stuff.
Oh.
So yes, you can pay.
Hey, I mean, maybe I could stream that at some point.
Yeah, you can definitely like go, okay, I'm gonna pay money and get a bunch of packs. But at the same time, it's like, you don't have to.
Well, and I wouldn't want to either, because the fun thing about opening packs is that you get a physical card.
Yeah.
You're like, I have this thing now. It like shiny thing. There's
Shiny. Ooga booga.
oh yeah, Eli's quiet because I forgot to change the freaking volume again. There's a COD Warhammer crossover. Interesting.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I did see that. was pretty interesting. I'm not really a COD player, so. But
The executions were pretty good.
I saw the video of the guy who voiced the executions, who did the voiceover for him. And that was pretty cool. But if we want to get on to the topics we have on the board, the first one I had down was, what is the best video game movie of all time? And the reason is, it just came out either today or yesterday. Keanu Reeves is voicing Shadow the Hedgehog in Sonic 3. So, like, that blew my mind when I read. I was like, Keanu Reeves, John Wick is voicing Shadow? But so I'm really excited for that movie. Like, I already was, but knowing Keanu Reeves is voicing it, ooh, they all suck in your opinion. Oh. There is a lot of really bad video game movies, but recently I think the trend has been broken at least a little bit.
Oh, there's a movie I want to go see that I think comes out today.
Oh, really?
The Ungentleman Warfare.
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about. That one, I was like, that could be a really interesting movie, actually, when I saw the preview for that one.
I think it would just be really funny.
Yeah. So the first thing I thought of whenever I heard the name, it was The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
I thought that, and then I was like doing something, and I was listening to it. I'm like, oh, that is literally just like Jake McNasty from World War II. For those who don't know, Jake McNasty was a 101st Airborne guy with like 4 combat jumps into Germany. And like he was the troublemaker, and basically they put him in his own unit by himself and just said, "Go away. We don't want to deal with you."
Oh boy. John Wick is Shadow the Hedgehog confirmed. Yeah, that was pretty much my reaction, but I wanted to talk about it, but there's not really much to talk about past just, oh hey, John Wick is Shadow, that's pretty funny. So I was like, let's roll it into what is the best video game movie. And honestly, there's a lot of really, really bad ones. The Ratchet and Clank movie was not great. Basically, any video game movie from before 2015 sucked. You had ones here and there like Mortal Kombat that was alright. The most impressive thing with Mortal Kombat was Goro. I think, okay. Here's an assignment for anyone who has never seen the Mortal Kombat movies from the 90s. Go and watch. You don't have to watch the whole thing. Just look up Goro. Because I think that is the pinnacle of practical effects and CGI coming together to make something amazing. Goro, at a time when CGI was not that great, as can be seen in the Star Wars prequels, Goro blended CGI and practical effects and created a filmmaking masterpiece. So, and then, if you want to talk about the Doom movie, the first-person shooter segment of that movie is really cool. The rest of the movie sucks, but that seemed to be a theme with video game movies, where it's like they have one really cool section or one really cool bit, and then everything else is bad.
So I have my answer. I just have a question. Would you count Ender's Game as not Ender's Game? Ready Player One as a video game movie.
Okay. I was going to say, you confused me a little bit with Ender's Game. I was like, that's based off of a book.
Well, so is Ready Player One.
Yeah. See, that's where Ready Player One's tough, because it's not based off of a video game franchise, even though it does involve a lot of different game franchises.
If you actually read the book, there is nothing really about video games in it.
The book's all about the 80s.
Yeah,
Like, all the stuff in the book is
D&D.
Yeah, D&D. You might get a Pac-Man mention here or there.
I think the games they played were Pac-Man and Joust.
Yeah. Like,
were the only two video games played.
That definitely. And the movie did change it to be more around video games. Yes. And that's, I have to agree with Cheese. Since it's based off a book, even though it includes video games, it's not based off a video game franchise. Yes, Gore, I did like the images you sent me. Or, well, the videos, right, of your dog. That's what you sent me.
Oh, that burp hurt.
But honestly, and another video game movie, Street Fighter, the Street Fighter movie. I have no idea what you're talking about, Gore. The Street Fighter movie, Raul Julia is one of the most like diabolical villains. He plays M. Bison so incredibly. It's wildly entertaining. The rest of the movie is too, but the rest of the movie is the kind of so bad it's good entertaining. The Raul Julia is actually just incredible. Don't do anything funny or stupid while you're gone. All right. I mean, when do we ever do anything funny?
Ow!
Ooh, self-burn. Those are rare. No, they're not. Not with me. So I actually haven't seen the recent Mortal Kombat. I've heard it was pretty...
Okay, I watched it. I watched it at work.
Mm-hmm.
I watched it and did not understand.
Wasn't the first one just like a bunch of fights and nothing else?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, no, Gore. What, I mean, what you're saying doesn't make any sense. I have no idea. I didn't see any other images. I also haven't seen the Super Mario movie, which I need to watch it because everybody tells me it's really, really good.
I will say this. I enjoyed it, but I did not really enjoy Mario.
Okay.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah, I get it. What's up, Deadeye? The Crumpanions right again. I don't know if you heard that, but Deadeye created an amazing name for for my followers. So I'm going to shout out.
I'm gonna go on a quick tangent really quick. The Uncharted movie sucked.
Oh,
so
yeah,
badly.
Dude, as soon as I saw the trailer, I was like, that's gonna be awful. Like, I knew that was gonna be bad. As soon as I was like, who on earth thought it was a good idea to cast Tom Holland as Nathan Drake? I'm sorry, Tom Holland's a fine actor. He's fine, but he's not Nathan Drake.
Dude, I was... because me and Nicole went and saw that when we were still, like, a thing, and the entire time I was just making fun of the movie, and she was like, you need to stop. We paid, like, a chunk of money to come do this. And I was like, yeah, sure.
So, there's a couple other ones I need to shout out that I've heard are good movies. Detective Pikachu. I know it's been like 5 years. I still haven't watched it. I need to watch that one really badly. I want to watch it. And Five Nights at Freddy's, which I actually have saved to watch. That one is not, I've heard it's not like incredible, but it's actually a really entertaining movie. One movie I will have to shout out before giving my actual answer is Rampage.
Okay, I saw that one and I was like, yeah, that's like an old school arcade game.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I when I first heard it, I was like, that's dumb. How are they going to make a movie out of that? And then actually, let's clarify, this ain't some art house masterpiece kind of film, but it was still pretty entertaining for what it was.
I mean, The Rock was even pretty good in it.
Yeah,
And I hate
I mean,
to say this,
he
but
was
The
The
Rock
Rock.
just
He was fine.
Yeah. I don't like The Rock.
No, I don't either. I think he's a very bland actor. Freddy Fazbear's coming for your kidneys. So my favorite to this point is Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
I knew you were going to say Sonic.
I mean, dude, what other, like, the number of other video game movies that I've watched that have just been absolutely trash. Do you remember when we were in high school and there's a couple of these movies that got hyped up? Need for Speed, Warcraft, Assassin's Creed. Like, all of those were dog crap movies.
Yeah.
Like, those were bad. The first Silent Hill is fine. I'm just not a horror movie person, so I really didn't care for it.
Silent Hill was actually pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. I've heard only good things about that.
I watched it and I was like, okay, I haven't played the game, so I don't have the game to compare it off of. But it was all right. It was fine. The first Resident Evil movie is probably what probably would be a lot of people's answers. What about the Animal Crossing movie? There isn't an Animal Crossing movie. But that would probably be a lot of people's answers. Let's see. Going through all of the video game movies listed on Wikipedia, the one with the highest Rotten Tomatoes score is Werewolves Within. What is that? Never even heard of that movie, let alone game. Oh. It's based off of a video game called Werewolves Within that is essentially just Ultimate Werewolf.
Yeah. I thought that's what it was, but I
see, because I'd never heard of Werewolves Within. The one that was that I always heard was Town of Salem.
Yeah, that's they're very similar games.
Okay. All right. Well, that's the highest rated based off of Rotten Tomatoes, which I'll be honest, I don't really trust Rotten Tomatoes. Are they all live action? Actually, yes. I think all the video game movies are live action, save for maybe
Mario,
and which it actually doesn't
Ratchet
list
and
on
Clank.
here. Why doesn't it list Mario? What? That's a video game movie.
Another very good video game movie is Boss Level.
I've never seen that one.
I have seen bits and pieces of it, but it's basically like Groundhog Day, but it's a villain.
Oh, that actually sounds like a pretty interesting concept.
Yeah, so he keeps waking up and the heroes keep coming and killing him, and he's just like, I'm tired of this. I'm going to start fighting back.
See, okay, this is why I hate critics rating sites. Detective Pikachu got a 68 on Rotten Tomatoes and a 53 out of 100 on Metacritic. Sonic the Hedgehog got a 63 and a 47. Sonic 2 got a 69, nice, and a 47 out of 100. Like, these rating sites put too much into oh, the movie needs to be this and that and blah blah blah, and it's like you can't just have fun with it. Aren't there animated Final Fantasy movies? I actually don't know.
I believe so, but they pale in comparison to actual Final Fantasy games.
Right. Oh yeah, I'm certain.
And I just
so funny enough, this list only includes live action. It does not include. There's no Ratchet and Clank. There's no Mario. Okay. I'm going to ask you about this. I want to see if you remember this. Do you remember the Netflix show Video Game High School?
Dude. Yes.
That's okay. I'm so glad I'm not the only one.
That was actually a YouTube series that Netflix bought.
Oh, really? Was it?
Yeah.
That's funny. It was so cheesy, dude.
It was so good, though. I loved it.
Yes. It, like, I haven't watched it since... I watched it in high school and thoroughly enjoyed it. But it was the exact, like, so bad it's good kind of thing. Because it was, like... Yeah. A cheesy sitcom set in a high school based around playing video games. And then there was the one guy everybody wasn't he just called the guy or something like that? That was the cool video game player.
And you had the one guy who was like the coder who was like, I don't have any friends, but he was really good at like Dance Dance Revolution.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Good grief. Oh. If I cast Fireball and you can cast Bullet. Persona 3 has movies?
They're probably animated.
Probably. I do know Persona 5 has an entire anime that's just the plot of the game.
I can hear the Fallout TV show from my room.
Okay. So roll right on to that. Did you watch all of that?
I am to episode 6, and I just haven't found time to keep watching it.
Okay. I haven't watched any of it yet, but I have already seen some divisive opinions. There have been a lot of people who are like, actually, this show's really, really, really good. Like, I enjoy it. And, I mean, the fact that you've watched 6 episodes of it despite not caring about Fallout in the slightest is a testament to that. Then I've also heard...
It's like either you love it or you hate it. There's no...
So, yeah, the thing that I've heard about it is a lot of the diehard Fallout fans have been like, this show sucks because it doesn't follow along with the lore, and you can tell it's run by Bethesda because they do nothing but trash on the games that weren't Bethesda games, like Fallout New Vegas 1 and 2. And I can't really express opinions one way or another since I haven't seen it yet. And I don't know if I am going to watch it. What about the first Pokemon movie where we learned Pikachu's tears can cure being turned into stone? Oh gosh, I forgot about the Pokemon, the animated movies. Those are all like really weird fever dreams. If it is true that they kind of trashed on the non-Bethesda Fallout games, I wouldn't be exactly happy about that because honestly,
here's the problem.
The best Fallout games are the non. Yeah, I know. See, and that's the
So
thing.
like I'm watching it just going like, "Oh, this is interesting. I kind of like how they did this. Oh, this is interesting. I kind of like how they did this."
Yeah, to all the non-Fallout fans that don't really care about that, it's not going to be a big deal. But to the Fallout fans, me being one of them, which I'll make my stance clear right now. I've played Fallout 1, haven't beaten it. I've not played Fallout 2, although I do own it, and I have kind of considered streaming both of them. I have played Fallout New Vegas at least 10 times through. I've played Fallout 3 once through. I've played Fallout 4 once through. The Bethesda Fallout games are easily the worst Fallout games in the series. And I think Bethesda gets a little salty about that because people let them know that the other games were better, and they don't like that. So, it wouldn't surprise me. I can't say one way or another, again, because I haven't watched it. But it wouldn't surprise me if Bethesda did intentionally, like, throw some shade at New Vegas and 1 and 2. Just to kind of be like, oh, we're better than you, you know. Especially since the show is fully canon. It's a little bit much to obsess about it, which is why I'm like, I don't really care. If I don't like the show, I'll just pretend that it's not canon, you know? Like, it doesn't exist. It doesn't apply to the Fallout universe. But, you know, we'll see. Perhaps I'll give a fully detailed review of the Fallout series once I'm done. Someone has mapped where all the vaults are on Google from the clip in the show that shows all of the vaults. That's pretty funny. Doom movie? Yeah, there was a Doom movie. It was not great.
I have enjoyed it so far. I have my problems with the show. And that's pretty much it goes back to the whole we keep talking about it, and I hate to keep bringing it up, but people don't know how to frickin' write anymore.
Oh, yeah. See, the one scene that I've seen from the show that really made me, I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to watch this, was when the Vault Dweller was talking to the ghoul the first time. Or, no,
Yeah.
who was she? I don't remember exactly what was happening, but she was trying to be like, you're not supposed to be doing that, blah, blah, like, very...
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, gosh, this dialogue is so cringeworthy. Nobody would talk like that. Nobody talks like that.
The funniest part that I have seen is like people are identifying so much with the ghoul just because he is a very funny. He does a very good job of like cutting because I don't remember who the actor is.
Oh, let's find out.
Walton Goggins.
Sure. Yeah, I recognize him. I didn't recognize the name, but I recognize his face.
It's like him and Michael Emerson are the only two actors I recognized.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very obvious. Like, they're the only two actors who know what they're doing.
Oh, he voices Cecil in Invincible.
Yeah, he's actually a really good actor too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I've seen him in a lot of things, but I can't.
He's been
name
around
any
forever
right now.
He's one of those like longtime actors.
Yeah. He's just like in everything, but he doesn't necessarily have any super major roles.
Yeah, like he's the bad guy in Ant-Man and the Wasp.
There it is. Yep.
I'm pretty sure he's the bad guy in Tomb Raider.
Yeah, he is.
He
Man,
plays a lot of bad guys.
2018 was a good year for him as a bad guy. That's funny.
That's another thing I hate is typecasting.
Isn't there a Punch-Out movie? I don't know, maybe.
He's also in Cowboys and Aliens.
Oh gosh, that movie. Whoa. That's a movie I forgot about.
I think he's the bad guy in that one as well.
Clearly, he has a type, a theme. He's really good at being a bad guy.
And which they kind of cast him to play the bad guy, and he's like, go. There's one point where she's going back and forth, and she's like, torturing people's bad, because he's like dunking her in the water, and he goes, I'm not torturing you. I'm using you as bait. And it's like, oh. Got him. I like him as a character because there's like a lot that you can go like, oh man, you have had a really rough life, dude.
That's one of the things I love about the Fallout games is there are some characters who only get, 7 or 8 lines of dialogue, but they do so much with those lines where it's like, oh, you just built out a fully fleshed out character, just throwing out a couple lines out there. Oh yeah, I'm in the NCR because, my brother died and I had to take over his place, or, I'm fighting for Caesar's Legion because of this. Oh, I'm doing, like they don't have to be a major character to actually have a decently fleshed out story. And that's, I follow a couple of channels who will do like Fallout lore. And like a dude can make a 20-minute video off of the lore behind this one character who is in the game for 5 minutes. And because they do so much with that time, that I really enjoy that about Fallout. And
yeah,
I can hope they translated it to the TV show, but go ahead.
So, how the show starts, it doesn't start in the at post nuclear.
Yeah, it does a little briefing, right, of what happens.
No. You're just following this cowboy. This retired cowboy who's just at a birthday party.
Okay.
And he's talking, and his daughter's there helping him. And she asks him for a slice of cake, and he's like, yeah, let me go get that for you. And because she asks him, like, hey, what happens if bombs go off? And she's like a little kid. And like the little kid curiosity,
Right.
And he was like, listen, if the mushroom is bigger than your thumb, well, if it's smaller than your thumb, you turn and run away as fast as you can. And she's like, what if it's bigger? And he's like, then you just don't even worry about it. Which is an actual thing they taught.
Yeah.
During those times. And he's like former Marine, and then he goes inside, comes back out, and she's sitting there crying, holding her hand up in the thumb up position, and she's like, is it your thumb or my thumb? And he's like, what? And he turns and looks at the city as it just looks like there's a really bad fire going on. He goes, no, honey, that's just a fire. And then mushroom. And everybody scatters.
Okay.
And he grabs her and gets on a horse. Something they don't tell you about nukes at those times. They send out an electromagnetic field that knocks out all technology.
Right.
So everybody runs for their cars that aren't going to work. And he gets on horse. I'm like, that's so smart. I'm glad that somebody has gotten that one right finally.
Yeah, exactly.
But then it was like, it's like, oh man, that kind of hurts. It really hurts because it's like you. I haven't finished it, so I don't know what happens to his daughter, but I don't think it's going to be good.
Probably not. Generally, it's not in Fallout.
Yeah, it's Fallout. What do I expect?
You know, it took people till Fallout 4 to realize that was the pose that the Fallout Boy makes. Really? They didn't recognize that? That's why he's got one eye closed. He's not just doing a thumbs up, he's measuring the size of the nuke. Did people not realize that?
You know what's even scarier now?
What?
Ballistic missile nukes don't have that. They don't have EMP fallout.
Right. Yeah, they're just a explosion.
Yeah. Like, even Hiroshima, you can go and live there now.
Yeah.
Like, it sucks for the first couple years, but that's about it.
Same with Nagasaki. That's the thing about nuclear bombs. They will make the immediate area unlivable for a few years, but the radiation fades pretty quickly in comparison to other, like Chernobyl. Chernobyl's not going to be inhabitable until we're long dead. Like,
that's because there's still nuclear matter irradiating there.
Yeah, exactly.
With those nuclear bombs, it just shoots up into the atmosphere and gets taken out by the electromagnetic bands.
Yeah. Oh yeah, people still live near Chernobyl, but they're not like living in Chernobyl, and it's not going to be an area that can be a thriving area again until over 100 years. Like,
yeah.
And that's the thing. What was the Japanese Fukushima?
Yes.
Is that one the same as Chernobyl?
Yes, but Japan has done an incredible job of cleaning it up.
I was gonna say, if I recall, Chernobyl kind of got out of hand and then was just left to rot.
Yeah.
Whereas Fukushima, Fukushima happened a lot later, so technology was better, so it didn't get as bad as Chernobyl did, and then Japan's done incredible cleaning it up.
Japan has done a incredible job of, they've just unholy that they've been able to do that.
Well, and one of the best things about it too is a lot of Japan's older population has said, no, we'll go and take care of that. Like, we like 60, 70, 80-year-olds who are just like, no, we're going to die in 10 or 20 years. The radiation is not going to have enough time to affect us. We can't have 20 and 30-year-olds going in here because they will be affected by this. So let us go and take the brunt of the radiation to save the younger generation. And that is incredible. Did you know that people went into Chernobyl to get their stuff back were actually called stalkers? Yeah, that's where the name of the game comes from. Remember the other 3 reactors at Chernobyl were running till 2000? Yeah. And I mean, you still have the elephant's foot, which is so close or so irradiated that if you get close enough to see it, you're already dead. Like, it melted the camera they used to take pictures of it with. Like, Chernobyl is a mess. Although you are able to enter Chernobyl with, protective gear. As a matter of fact, I think you can even walk around the majority of Chernobyl, and as long as you don't ingest anything, you're not really taking on any radiation.
And there's, like, certain areas you can't go.
Yeah, of course. Like, the most immediate areas around the reactor, you still have to be wearing protection. And there are some areas of the city that are still, but, like, there are animals that roam through, like, it's become its own ecosystem. of animals that have been irradiated for years and have just passed it on to their young. And they can...
Do you know what the apex predator of Chernobyl is?
What?
The catfish.
A cat.
Because catfish have this weird genetic flaw in them that they can take in radiation a lot better. It just makes them grow 10 times faster and 10 times larger. Jeremy Wade actually went in there.
I remember him catching one of the giant river catfish in, what is it, South America?
Yeah, but when they got it out of the water, they couldn't touch it because how irradiated it was.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like 12 foot long as a catfish in a river. Which is terrifying. Still there?
Yeah.
Hello?
I was trying to find a picture of it. See, the one that pops up when it says radioactive catfish is like big for a catfish, but not like those monstrous river catfish. Because it's just like a maybe 4 foot long catfish that he's holding.
Yeah, but they did catch one bigger and it broke the line. That place is weird because those catfish will eat something that comes too close to the ground, the water.
Yeah. So like, yeah, there's pictures of guys holding giant catfish, but I didn't think they were. Okay, see, that's...
radiation. Yeah, the radiation does something to them that messes them up.
Size is not due to radiation.
Oh, it isn't?
That's what it says. I imagine because of their ability to function in irradiated waters, they're probably allowed to get much bigger than they are anywhere else.
Good point. That's because everything else died off.
Yeah.
They might just be able to filter out the radiation a bit better.
Here's the Chernobyl catfish. Yeah, that would be my thinking, because goldfish could get really big if they're allowed to live. They just typically don't live that long. Like goldfish get legitimately giant.
Yeah, like goldfish and koi fish are like relatives, I believe.
Yeah. I remember my sister won a goldfish from something at her school when we were younger. And we had that goldfish for like 5 years. Dude, it went from, itty bitty little pet goldfish that you get in the bag to like 2 foot long.
Yeah.
Like it was freaking huge. and that's a goldfish that didn't live too long. I've seen legitimately massive goldfish. It's wild how big some fish can get if they're left unchecked.
Yeah.
That's the power of radiation, indeed. I mean, hey, just look at the Fallout. No, none of those mutated radioactive creatures that the Fallout series has are anywhere near grounded in reality. But it is very entertaining to think about. But to move on to our next topic, Ubisoft wants to take your games. And that's not just like tabloid headline over-exaggeration. Ubisoft is legitimately a terrible company. So, just context for this. We'll start off with a direct quote from the Ubisoft CEO. I want to
Do.
get the exact quote, so I'm not paraphrasing. Ubisoft's, okay, not CEO, but director of subscriptions, Philip Tremblay, said that players should get used to not owning their games. Yep. He implied that having physical copies of games should be a habit left behind, just like with CDs and DVDs. BS. The reason CDs and DVDs have been slowly left behind: one, CDs, holding your music on a digital library became far more efficient than using CDs.
Now, I could say this. If you transition from, like, the disc to the online editions only, that would make sense to me.
See, I still don't like that, though, because then that just gives whatever service the right to take away what you own at any moment. Like Steam,
Well,
Steam has made it clear that if you break their rules and do something egregious enough that they take away your account, they don't give you those games back. They're gone. Like, if your account gets deleted on Steam, you lose every single one of your games. So, Steam, at the very least, has made it clear they only do that in the most extreme of circumstances. Like, with people who are doing illegal things, with their Steam account. But the Ubisoft is making it seem like you just should get used to not owning a game. Which is, frankly, I think it's ridiculous. Once you've bought something, you've bought it. At that point, it is yours, and you should own it until you choose not to anymore. So, for example, I have all my PS4 games, PS2, Xbox 360 games in my cabinet that are physical discs. Nobody can come and take those from me unless they pry them from my cold, dead hands. But if it's an online thing, they can just go, you don't own that anymore. The biggest catalysts of Ubisoft's controversy is a game called The Crew. If anybody doesn't know what The Crew is, it's a game from 2015? About 10 years ago now. That was an open world racing game where you could just race around the entire United States. Now, it essentially offers an abridged version of the United States. It's very much like you can drive from Miami to LA in 15 minutes. So, not actually fully fleshed out United States, but still a very fun, unique take on a game. Well, because of the live service slop, typical of most AAA games now, you had to be online in order to play it. Well, not enough people are playing it anymore. Between it just being an old game and sequels to the game coming out, Ubisoft has elected to kill the online for it. They're just not supporting the servers anymore. What does that mean? The game's dead. Even if you have a disc copy of the game, you cannot physically play it because the servers don't exist. They are outright killing the game, which, I gotta be honest, kind of pisses me off because I own a disc copy of it for the PS4. Wasn't my favorite game of all time. It was enjoyable to sit around and drive for a little bit, but still pretty pissed that they just decide, no, you can't. You know what they could do? They could easily just release an offline patch. There you go.
Yeah.
Now you can play the game offline. Yeah, you lose a lot of features of online, but that happens. I can still throw in Call of Duty, Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare and play through the entire campaign, play couch co-op. I can't play the online because the online the servers aren't there anymore. Same with the Halo 1, Halo 2. If I pop one of those into my Xbox 360, I can still play through the campaign.
Campaign.
I can play couch co-op multiplayer with my friends if they come over. I can't play the online, but, you know, people understand you can't continue to support servers for a game that is not being played anymore by that many people. That's not what people are not understanding about. It's the fact that they're willing to just, you know, hey, look at the flowers, you know, and cap a game. It doesn't matter if people aren't really playing it anymore. You should at least have an offline option for your games, excuse me.
Yeah.
So this is causing a lot of scuttlebutt about, I mean, this whole situation. What the Ubisoft guy said, the crew being shut down, you know, and I think it's a bleak future for video games if other AAA developers start to take this route. I mean, we've already stated multiple times that AAA is not the way to go anymore. Typically, AAA developers just suck now. You know, they release garbage product. They force you to be online. They don't finish the game before they fully release it. Even when they do fully finish the game, it still sucks. They charge you $70 for a game that has no value. It's just... It's been made clear time and time again that AAA is just not worth it. And if they're going to go so far as to say you don't own your own games and we can take them from you at any point, yeah, I agree with you, Shadow City. That's BS. And it's ridiculous. It shouldn't be happening in any sane world.
We just gotta revolt against them. Stop buying their games.
Oh, yeah, that's what a lot of people are like. Just railing against Ubisoft. And a lot of people are like, oh, well, Ubisoft hasn't released anything worthwhile in a few years, so...
Yeah.
Cool, I wasn't going to be owning their games in the first place, because who would buy that crap?
Yeah.
Just... And, you know, I can't throw shade at every AAA developer, but...
Yeah. Because there are some that are still good. Because if you look at it, certain companies here lately, like Baldur's Gate 3.
Larian Studios, absolutely incredible.
Is technically a... whatchamacallit, is technically a AAA studio.
Right.
But how much time did they pour into Baldur's Gate 3?
It's like 3 years, right?
I think we went in... I think it was like 7 years.
Yeah, I knew it was a while.
Because they went and... because they had the problem where what they were animating in changed.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
And they had to change everything over. It was like... What was it? I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, I don't remember either. We talked about it on another podcast, on another episode,
yes.
Right?
We did.
But yeah, you are exactly right, Shadow City. The proof that live service can be done well is being exemplified by Helldivers right now.
Oh, man.
Helldivers?
Arrowhead is putting in work.
You know what? That's the kind of thing where if 5 years from now, Arrowhead says, hey guys, it's time to pull the plug on this thing. It's been a great ride. Like, we can't keep doing this. I'm pretty sure everybody would be like, okay, we get it. We understand. If they had like one massive, all right, this is it. This is the last blaze of glory. This determines the entire story of Helldivers 2. Do the Helldivers win? Does Super Earth win? Or do they get overrun? They could create this big finale to it, and I'm sure every single person that has played that game would be ecstatic for something like that. And they would all go, oh yeah, we get it. We understand. Thank you for the entertainment.
It would very quickly turn into a hey, yeah, you would get so many players back.
Oh,
that haven't touched the game in forever, and everybody would be like, oh man, this is great.
Dude, it's been really cool that and one of the reasons that I seriously hope, like, AAA developers, it can't cost that much for you to keep a server open comparable to the amount of money you're making.
Yeah.
Unless you're seriously bleeding money behind the scenes that you aren't telling anyone about, Dark Souls and Demon Souls on the PS3 still has its servers up. You don't barely see anybody on it anymore, but they're still there.
You know what's even funnier than that?
What?
Look at Final Fantasy. Do you know what Final Fantasy 1 was created? I don't remember the name of the studio.
I don't either. Square Enix. And they own Final Fantasy now. As far as I was aware, they always have.
So Final Fantasy was a pipe dream that they were a company going out of business because they weren't able to keep up with the changing of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, this is going to be our final push. Thanks, guys, for everything.
That's why it's called Final Fantasy.
Yep. And it sold so well, it put them back. And then, there's been a couple Final Fantasies where it's like, hey, guys, this is the last one because company's going to have to close. And it just skyrockets sales because it's so much love and effort is put into those games because, hey, this is the last time this team is going to get to work together because they kept their original team forever.
Through, I believe, Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, and then they got so big, they started, bringing in, new people, and other people were like, hey, I'm going to go do this project, and they were like, yeah, do it.
Well, they're to the point now they have enough IPs that they're not going to run into that. Well, this is the last ride, guys.
They might, man. It happens to companies. Oh no, what was that?
Shadow City. Final Fantasy was a pipe dream? That must have been one damn good pipe.
Oh, that...
That's a good one. I like that.
There are a lot of games that have come out that's been like, oh man, this is the end of this series, This is the end.
Five Nights at Freddy's. Have you heard the story of this?
No.
Scott Cawthon was a game developer. He released Five Nights at Freddy's in 2014, I believe. He was a game developer since the late 90s, and he had released at least 30 other games before that, and every single one of them flopped. And Five Nights at Freddy's was his, all right, I'm doing this, and then I'm quitting game development.
Yeah.
And he released what has become one of the most lucrative indie franchises of all time, the most lucrative indie horror franchise. And yeah, FNAF 3 was supposed to be the end. As far as I know, every single FNAF has been supposed to be the end. Because FNAF 1, it was like, that's the end. That's the end of Scott Cawthon's game development career. Then it blew up. Became like a cult hit. And he was like, okay. Less than a year later, I believe like 4 or 5 months later, released Five Nights at Freddy's 2. And then he was like, all right, yeah, I think that's good. And then that one blew. It was like, okay, all right, Five Nights at Freddy's 3. There we go. That's the end. And then 4, and then Sister Location. Like, it's just turned into this massive franchise. And he's retired now.
Yeah.
But, like, seriously, it is truly impressive what somebody can make when their back is up against the wall.
Yeah, it's like, I love those pipe dream games because it's like, man, we're not going to be able to keep going. Let's pour everything into this game.
Right. And you can tell that even like in Scott Cawthon's case where he was like, well, this is the last game I'm ever making, you can tell that he was pouring every bit of passion he had into that game, despite with the hope that this will catch on, this will be a thing. He wasn't just phoning it in like, oh, it's the last game I'm ever making. He was putting every last bit of passion he had for game development into it as like, all right, I'm done. And then, lo and behold, he wasn't.
Yeah.
But now Steel Wool has taken over. They're in some form of superposition between great and garbage. Yeah. They've got some issues. They need to recapture the allure the franchise first had. Although a lot of that has been lost because part of the thing people loved about Five Nights at Freddy's was the mysterious, nature of it. Like the phone guy, talking to you. So, hello. Always being super friendly, and then it's like, yeah. There was the bite of 87, and everybody's like, what is the bite of 87? What are you talking about? And then he follows it up with, yeah, it's surprising he lived without his frontal lobe. And everyone is freaking out. Oh my gosh, what is the bite of 87? Yeah, and then he dies in night 5. Like, the what's the word I'm looking for? Not fear of the unknown that's typical with horror games, but just the people's interest in what the story was outside of just you're in a pizzeria and there's animatronics coming after you. That's what drew people to that game.
Yeah.
And I think now it's going to be kind of hard to recapture that. But yeah, I can say without a shadow of irony, screw Ubisoft. I hate Ubi, however you're supposed to say it. I hate Ubisoft. They haven't released a good game in who knows how long. They tried to claim they were making the first quadruple A game with that absolute garbage. I don't even remember what it was called. It was a pirate game. But Skull and Bones, that's what it was.
Yeah.
We're creating the first quadruple A game, and it's just absolute trash. But
what would be like? How far would you have to go to consider something a quadruple A game? Like,
dude, at this point, I don't think there's gonna ever be such thing as a quadruple A game because Ubisoft just turned that into a meme. If anybody else ever tries to claim that their game is a quadruple A game, it doesn't matter how good the game is, it will flop. Because people are going to say, they said it's quadruple A, that means it's going to be absolute garbage. Don't even pay it any mind. What's up, group? Jeez. Yeah, Ubisoft is trash, and there's quite a few AAA developers. I hate EA too. EA releases the same slop yearly, and for some reason, people keep buying it. Like,
Yeah.
stop buying the sports games from EA. They all suck. They haven't changed in 10 years. It's just a graphics and a roster update, and hardly even a graphics update at that. It's literally the same game every single time. Stop buying it.
It's funny because the only time I'll play EA games is when they come on Game Pass because they're free.
See, even then, most of the time, I'm like, I don't even bother with it. EA is the illumination of gaming. I like that. That's a good one. Oh gosh. Illumination, if I'm sure people know, but Illumination is the studio that came out with Despicable Me and literally nothing else. Everything else they've come out with is trash. Yeah, but that's EA is just EA's pretty trash. I have not liked the direction Bethesda has gone the past few years. I think Bethesda has been lacking in quality as of late.
Doesn't Bethesda have that new Star Wars game coming?
Outlaws?
Yeah.
No, that's Ubisoft.
Ah.
EA made the Mario movie. What? Why would EA have a hand in the Mario movie? That's all Nintendo. Did they actually? I legitimately can't tell if you're screwing with me or not. I feel like you're screwing with me.
Hmm. Are you gonna even play Star Wars Outlaws?
No.
Fair enough.
Illumination made the Mario movie. Oh.
Oh. Oh, dude.
You
Ubisoft-
deleted your message group. Don't even try. You said EA made the Mario movie. I read it. I read it. Don't try and gaslight me.
Oh. Oh, Ubisoft got slammed.
Oh.
They're gonna make Jabba the Hutt season pass exclusive and got slammed for it.
Of course
So
they
they're
did. To both of those points, of course they tried to make Jabba the Hutt a season pass exclusive, and of course they got absolutely railed for it. Like, why do AAA games not understand people don't like paying for season passes just to get absolute crap? I mean, people don't love paying for season passes in the first place. They like being able to earn the things in the game off of their own skill or time.
Have you ever heard Bethesda backtrack on something before? Because they have backtracked on it and they're like, oh no, we'll just make it free then. Like, just a part of the game. And everyone's like, thank you, if it's paid, we're uninstalling and refunding the game.
That tracks.
Oh, you know another thing we didn't talk about with the video game section?
What?
The League of Legends show on Netflix, I think it was.
Oh,
Arcane?
I still haven't watched Arcane.
It's pretty good. It's not like it does a very good job of writing, but I think the writers of Riot Studios actually wrote it, not Netflix writers.
Right. See, the one thing I've seen from it is I watched a video breaking down how Jinx is not only the right way to write a female character, but also the absolute best depiction of falling into insanity in media.
Yes.
AAA games know that plenty well. The developers, the designers, playtesters, the artists are all very well. The managers aren't. Yeah, that's exactly the thing. And we've talked about that before on here. How I don't want to work for a AAA developer because I don't want to be compromised by a manager who is only cares about money and the bottom line and doesn't really care if it's a quality product or not. That seems like a soul-sucking hell to work in. You know, that seems like a nightmare. And that's Pirate Software has talked about it, where Blizzard was not a wonderful company to work for. Even outside of the sexual harassment issues, they had so many other problems that he's just said it was not good to work for them. It was not. You were not mentally healthy if you worked at Blizzard.
Yeah.
Like, that you'd show up for work one day and all the managers would be standing right at the entrance and they'd tell you to go in the door on the right or a door on the left. If you went in the door on the right, you were fired. You just didn't know it yet. But then the issue is they had other entrances to the building, so other employees that came into the other entrances every single day went and sat down at their desks, and they had to be sought out and escorted out of the building. That's just one example. But, yeah, like, seriously. I would seriously prefer not to work for a AAA developer. There are very few, like Larian. That would be one that I would be cool with working for them.
Oh, did you hear what happened with Larian?
What?
They flat out said they're not going to do any more Baldur's Gate games.
Oh, yeah. Because they don't want to deal with Wizards of the Coast.
Yeah, well, that is...
I don't think we talked about this on a podcast, but we talked about it during D&D. They were just like, yeah, no, we're done dealing with Wizards of the Coast, because with how all over the place they are, we don't want to know what they could do to us. So we're just bouncing.
Yeah, they also blamed, like, Hasbro for a good chunk of it.
Yep.
Because Hasbro owns Wizards of the Coast.
Yeah.
Honestly, if Hasbro didn't own Wizards of the Coast, D&D would be so much better.
Oh, dude. That's the problem. The second you go corporate, whether you're bought by another company or whatever, that's when the issues start.
We've seen it time and time and time again.
Oh my gosh, there's so many examples of it. Many such cases. Yeah, group, I did see that story. Blizzard hired a dude, promised him a promotion, gave him more work and responsibilities, did not give said promotion after months of emails. He quit, and they made him sign an NDA because of the responsibilities. So now he can't work as a developer for a few years. Awful. Did you know that suicide... you know what, 28, I said it. In the gaming industry are on the rise, I'm pretty sure. Wouldn't surprise me. Wouldn't surprise me. Because, honestly, dude...
This is going to get demonetized.
It's not monetized in the first place. I need about a little more than double the amount of subs I have right now to even consider monetization. Yeah.
Hey, everybody, if you're watching this, like and subscribe.
All right. I'm pretty sure that is the first subscriber call to action that exists on my channel. Like, I don't even know if I've done it jokingly.
You know what's even funnier? When people watch this back, it'll pop up right then.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because YouTube, they have an AI that listens to everything.
Oh, gosh, of course they do. Skynet is real. Gosh, dang.
Ah, nice. 1 Corinthians 15:21.
Yep. That's the verse for the day. You can't demonetize me if I was never monetized in the first place, you fools. Can clip the subscribe button again if that's what you want. You know what the biggest question mark I have? What's the biggest question mark, group?
Oh, I haven't even been in chat this whole time, so I'm just like, I'm also dreadfully tired, and I'm going to go to bed right after this.
I mean, yeah.
So, to let everyone know what's going on is my schedule got swapped up, so I'm now working 4 a.m. to 11 a.m.
Yeah, that's insane. Every day?
Um, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Sunday.
Oh, so you're gonna leave D&D and go straight to work?
Oh god, forgot about that. Good chance. There's a good chance, so I might sleep earlier on Saturday, which really messes up my schedule. But okay, whatever.
It's been shown time and time again that games with effort and no BS monetization make much more money than any modern AAA game. The higher ups are ruining the games and have evidence that gives them less money, yet they still do it. Dude, that's exactly. It doesn't make any sense. It's like the Resident. What was it? Resident Evil? No, I mean the Resident Evil TV show is really bad, but there are multiple examples of TV shows and movies made off of beloved properties that just suck fat monkey nuts and Halo. Why do so many companies pride themselves on not watching the original material and acting like that's a good thing? They're literally only losing themselves money. It's the exact same thing you're talking about with AAA games. Like, I don't understand what the disconnect is in these freaking octogenarians' minds that, like, oh, if we shovel this crap in here, then we'll make more money. Like, no! People aren't stupid enough to fall for that all the time. I can't say nobody is, because there are still EA games that get purchased despite their lack of quality, and there are still microtransactions that get bought even though they're absolutely worthless. But comparatively, go ahead.
If when we start getting games put out there, and we get to do a TV show or something on it, we're signing in the contract that we get to write the script.
Yeah, of course, dude.
I don't care about the director, because directors.
I mean, directing is a whole different thing than script writing.
I'm trained in it. I just hate it. Like, let me tell you something. Anybody watching, if you want to be an actor, all you have to do is be a whiny little bitch.
Whoa, okay.
And I'm not joking. I am being 100% serious on this.
I didn't expect that. Woof, you came out the gate swinging.
Yeah, no. No, group, I have tried acting. I make a terrible actor.
See, I'd be interested in voice acting, but I don't really have any interest in actual acting.
I make a terrible actor because I want, like, if you're going to be a director for me, I want direction, not like, oh, do it however you feel right. No, it's your vision. I'm just the player in your script. I've read the script. I also have a terrible time talking, so I can't really be an actor.
Fair. See, I don't have issues with talking. I talk to myself all the time. Fun. Okay, see, I do that, but that's why they do multiple takes. But yeah, the Overwatch last 2 seasons started listening to fans, removed heroes from the battle pass. Yeah, there's so many things that could be done to improve, and they just don't want to do it. But honestly, now I kind of want to go off on the tangent of, like, because you dude,
I don't like actors.
Yeah, that's Shadow City was right. You just went for it.
Yeah, I've shot things where I've had to bring in like actors. Okay, yeah, I'm not paying them because we're not selling anything. You know, it's like, hey, can you come act for me? I'll get you pizza and beer
Right.
and a nice dinner at the end as a thank you. And like sitting there listening to people whine and complain, it drove me off the walls, man. Like being a director, I was just like, shut up. Stop crying that they didn't bring you the right grapes. Be glad we have food out here at all. We're in the middle of Florida on a August day trying to film this outside because we want to get it done and over with.
Well, and I think that's the thing. Some actors get way too entitled and have an overinflated sense of self-importance. And that is very, very frustrating. You know,
You know what's worse? I had one actor complain so much that he left, and there was no talking scenes left, so I just put on the stuff and ran it. And did it fine, never complained a single time. And like, I'm sweating buckets. And I'm just like, I don't care, I'm just getting this done. And it came out way better. I just don't like it when people cry about stuff. It's like, hey, you're getting airtime. This is going to Sundance. We've already got it cleared to be there. Stop crying. You're going to get your face in front of people.
yeah, exactly. This is an opportunity for you. I'm not paying you an actual money. I'm buying you a meal, and then you are getting some level of exposure. You should be treasuring
not
this chance.
not especially for like D-list actors. Or like actors who have never like, yeah, you got picked for a reason.
Right. They look at
It's like,
things like the no brown M&Ms and want to be just as important, completely missing why that rule even existed. Yeah, exactly. Like, you know what? If you're a major actor and it's like, hey, I've got to be stuck on set most of the day for the next few months, yeah, I'd like you to at least cater to me somewhat. You know,
yeah, you know what? If you have like allergies or anything like that, yeah, we will take care of you. You want certain food? Yeah, done. You want a place where you can go and sit down and be away from people for a while? Yeah, awesome. We all want that. But stop complaining about stuff that doesn't matter.
Exactly. Exactly. But
that's a tangent that
I was gonna
that's why
say
I've
we
gone,
could do a whole episode about that.
that is why I stepped away from screenwriting.
I understand.
Because it became, I just didn't want to deal with other people. I can deal with a single editor better than I can deal with a group of people. Yeah, group, I get that. I 100% get that they're checking for quality, but if you're basically rich enough, what is it Chris Brown says? If you have the FU money,
Yep.
you can say stuff like that. But when this is like your first gig you've ever done and you want to be like super catered to. Another thing is, when you actually do like shooting for stuff like that. So the two that we had sent to Sundance, it was like a 5-minute and a 10-minute video or a short story. It the most of the actual time for that was put in the editing room, not on shooting.
Right.
because it's something weird. It's like every uh minute of film is 10 hours of editing. And half the time the people who are doing the acting, if you have a helmet on, you're not saying anything, by the way. Because you have to go back and re-record all of those lines. And we have to lay them in there.
You're doing it in a booth.
Yeah. So you're in AC the entire time. You're not like, oh, I'm just hanging out in the suit all day. It's like, hey, no, we took the 10 takes we needed to do for these 6 scenes. Go get that stuff off and have a good day.
Right.
I'm doing the Italian hands over here.
All right, we could save a whole, because I'm sure we could take up a whole podcast worth of time talking about that. We can save that for another day. We still do.
I have a lot of complaints in that whole field.
Right. You brought up that there is a Warhammer Gundam crossover happening.
Yeah, so I'm going to start with this. Warhammer apparently had a massive... They were very public about it. They had a massive spike in sales after they did their Magic the Gathering crossover.
Ah.
Which, you know, makes sense. Magic the Gathering's a big thing. But, you know what else is really big? In their their third best-selling country, Japan, by the way, is Gundam.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like, oh, we're just going to do a crossover and make rules for it. You're basically running Imperial Knights. And it's really cool to me. I saw some of the miniatures that they were previewing, and it's like Games Workshop quality, and you've seen some of the miniatures that Games Workshop has been putting out lately.
Yeah.
Then they're like really detailed, especially on the bigger pieces. So, I'm interested to see where it goes, especially that they went to Gundam. I was like, okay, that's an interesting thing to do.
Yeah, it makes sense. It's just like, it's not like they're pulling out, like, Magic the Gathering made less sense than this.
Well, with how much it warranted in their success on selling stuff, like they had a record year for last year.
I mean, yeah. I'm talking more about fit. In universe fit. Because you know what, from Magic the Gathering's perspective, they've done Fallout, they've done Lord of the Rings, they've done D&D. They've really shown there's not really anything they're unwilling to mingle with. But from Warhammer's perspective, it was like, whoa, Warhammer is mingling with MTG. All right, that's new.
Yeah, it was like, okay, okay, Games Workshop.
Right.
Interesting. And like, I mean, it did really well for them. Games Workshop, it always likes money. They actually,
of course,
make
what company
more.
Doesn't? Isn't Warhammer known for their F this attitude? That Warhammer is famously very protective of their IP.
Yeah.
And
they went to like Nintendo level stuff for suing people.
Oh, yeah.
Like when 3D printers got big, people started printing their own armies. Those people got like lifetime bans from tournaments.
Yeah.
For 3D printing their own armies.
This is insane. They are ruthless when it comes to that stuff, which is what makes it so surprising that they're willing to step out of their bounds a little bit.
I will say this though: if Games Workshop wanted even more money, they would have sold the STL files for their miniatures at like a ridiculously high price to these 3D printer guys. Been like, yeah, so this is how much we're selling it to you for. This is going to cost about the same that you would probably buy an entire army for. Have fun.
Right.
That would have been a very smart move on their point, because they're still buying from Games Workshop. It's still a licensed product. It gives people a little bit more free will to like alter their pieces, because they just had their award ceremony for their favorite miniatures, and like a lot of like at least 60% that were put up were uh altered. So they were like, yeah, we love it when you guys mess with stuff. It's just we want you to mess with stuff with our parts.
Right. We
Like,
want to be making money off of it.
technically, I couldn't win I think they're called Golden Demon Awards, because I don't use their paint.
Oh.
And to really, unless you do like such an amazing job that the community's like, no, that one needs to win. It mostly turns into, hey, you used our paint, you used all of our stuff. We'll make your votes count a little more, you know?
Right.
Because they want to sell more of their product, not Army Painter's product. But that's Warhammer's real weird, because they could easily just, they've been around, I think they're the longest running gaming company, like board gaming company there is currently. I don't know, somebody can fact check me on that one, but do the actually me, but like they started out as a D&D, like OG D&D models company. Is where they started.
I mean, hey.
And that's what
Gotta start
and that's
somewhere.
that's why you got Warhammer Old World, and well, it was called just Warhammer at the time.
Right. But now
Because they created rules for the miniatures so you could keep playing them.
I don't think the average Warhammer enjoyer can run for very long.
Shut up, group. You know I have bad knees.
Oh boy. But I think that's about all we had for today.
I got my quote ready.
Oh,
You want me to dance a little jig and like distract them?
Yeah. Oh, group has a quote. What's group? What is your quote, group?
Ooh.
Eli. That is a good quote.
Ooh, we're getting towards the end of April. I need to get the stuff for your birthday present.
I hate that.
Why do you hate it? Listen here. You will be able to wear it in front of your family.
That does not give me any more confidence.
How does that not give you more confidence?
I don't know, because there's still going to be some weird...
It's not that weird. I swear to you, it is not that weird. I think you will really like it. No, group, nobody wants that. It's very hairy.
And skinny.
Yeah, it's like... You ever, like, held up a ferret and seen its chest? That's basically what I look like. An emaciated ferret. So messed up.
Okay, I have my quote. I have my quote.
Okay.
Well done. Here come the test results. You are a horrible person. That's what it says. A horrible person. We weren't even testing for that. Gladys. Portal 2.
That's pretty good. A hero need not speak. When he is gone, the world will speak for him. Admiral Hood, Halo 3.
Good. It's a good one.
Yeah. I love Halo.
Oh, this is another good quote. What is this one from? Nope, that's not what I wanted to do. War is where the young and stupid are tricked by the old and bitter into killing each other.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's really good.
Oh, it's
Is that like a
GTA 4.
Oh. I have an idea for next week's podcast.
Oh.
Or maybe like a co-op stream for us. We basically play Guess Who, but with magic cards.
Oh, gosh. Like I said, you're going to do so much better on that than me because you're a savant.
I will let you pick the set I picked the card from, and you can pick any card.
That won't help me.
Why won't that help you?
Because I don't know magic cards that well. I know the cards I play with that are in the red color because red go fast.
Group.
Jeez. Alright, well, that's all we got for tonight. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. Catch you tomorrow. I'm playing Little Gator Game tomorrow. And then me and Eli are doing a co-op stream on Thursday.
I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow. Actually, no, I have an idea for what I'm doing, so yeah.
Cool. Well, I guess it's a
I'm calling
secret
it
for
writer's
now.
block. I'm calling it writer's block.
Oh, okay. Sick. But, yep, thank you.
It's a creative stream.
Oh, a creative stream.
A creative.
We weren't supposed to get creative again.
It always ends bad for us.
Let's never get creative again.
I'm gonna go to bed.
Yep. All right. Have a good night, everyone.
Tally-ho.
Tally-ho.